Hi, everybody. Welcome to More Books with B. Sharice. I am your host, B. Sharice Moore. Thank you so much for tuning in with me again. I've decided that I'm going to do 2 episodes a week because I've noticed that, more content is better. And I have so many books to share with you, so many books to talk about. Why not discuss more books, discuss more creative strategies, and share with you what's working in my classroom? So I'm here again this week. All right. So grab your pencils, paper, pen. This is just going to be a regular old book review. This is not an arts integration episode, but I want to talk to you about how excited I am about this book. So, first of all, the name of the book that I'm going to talk about today is Dragons in a Bag by Zetta Elliott. Dragons in a Bag by Zetta Elliott. So, Dragons in a Bag. I've been meaning to read Dragons in a Bag for way too long, way too long. And it just so happened that I wanted to read another book that was fiction, but was also something that was more along the lines of a chapter book because I noticed that I've been doing a lot of graphic novels. I did a couple graphic novels recently, and I've also done some like upper YA, some high school novels, and I've also done some middle school stuff. But I haven't done a chapter book for our younger elementary kids, and I wanted to make sure that I did that for those of you who have children and students who are a little bit younger, still interested in reading or not interested in reading, but may need that push. So I chose Dragons in a Bag. So, Dragons in a Bag is by Zetta Elliott. I have mentioned Zetta Elliott already on this show. I reviewed one of her nonfiction books, and it was called Finding Your Voice. All right, Finding Your Voice. And that was a book about poetry and writing poetry. And she kind of walked you through her own writing process and suggested different ways that you can pull out and find your own voice. It's something that's very difficult, yet necessary if you want to be a writer. Okay. So I reviewed that back in maybe October, September, not sure when, but I knew that I wanted to talk about one of her fiction novels soon. So I picked up Dragons in a Bag. Now, first and foremost, Dragons in a Bag is the first book. All right. The second book, The Dragon Thief, I have not gotten hold of yet, but the minute I do, I promise I will review that as well. So pick up Dragons in a Bag, please. Dragons in a Bag is about a 9-year-old boy named Jax who ends up going on an adventure with an old lady named Ma. So Ma is like the neighborhood mother, all right? So I'm sure those of us who grew up in those communities, even though I grew up in a community that was not urban, it was a suburban community in South Jersey, we still had those church mothers, all right? My grandmother, Edna Moore, was a church mother, all right? I know there's so many other church mothers I can mention, Miss Helena. I can also mention Miss Joan, and those of you who grew up with me, know exactly who I'm talking about when I when I picture these older women, because they were women in the communities who basically could discipline anybody in the community with no repercussions. They could tell you about yourself, and they also were very loving. They were also very kind. Miss Mercedes. I'm trying to think. I know I'm forgetting some folks, but definitely Miss Mert, Miss Helena, and Miss Joan. They all come to my mind, and of course my grandmother, Miss Edna. All right, they come to mind when I think about my town and think about those older women. So basically, Jax ends up with this old woman through some circumstances I don't really want to reveal because I don't want to tell you too much of the story. I want you to read it, okay? And she ends up being a witch who has these dragons that she needs to deliver to another world. And so Jax goes on this awesome adventure with this elder, and it's just okay. First of all, let me talk about my love affair with Harry Potter. Okay, love Harry Potter. Don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I do. And one of the reasons why I love Harry Potter is I feel like, I don't know, even though I'm an adult, I feel like, yo, this could really be real. Like, I'm the type of Harry Potter fan that I will be taking the quizzes, and I'm a Ravenclaw, by the way. Yes, I'm a Ravenclaw. Okay. Um, I taken the quizzes to see, what house I'd be in. I think about what classes I might want to take at Hogwarts, and it was something about that story that just made me say, you know what, like this. I really believe this is real. I want to believe this is real. Obviously, it's fiction. Don't think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. All right. I got everything together, but it just provides that escape, and there's something about that escape that makes the books that much more memorable, that much more relatable, and that's that much more enjoyable, you know? And that's how I feel about Dragons in a Bag. This little old black woman, with a cane walking through Brooklyn, talking to a homeless man who's actually, has got some other things going on. Again, I don't want to reveal it, you know, and she has these connections, these otherworldly connections, and she introduces Jax to this new place, this new world. And it is such a refreshing urban fantasy novel. You know, um, I loved it from front to finish. I finished it in maybe 3 days, and that's only because I had to work. Because honestly, I would have read it from cover to cover if I had had the time. I spent the time actually reading it to my son. So my toddler, he's only 2 years old, all right, but I read to him a lot. And I love this book so much that we were sitting in his playroom. We have this ritual where we go in his room and he plays. He has like this bed that has a slide on the side. So he plays in his bed and I sit, in the rocking chair and I read. And Dragons in the Bag is what I read to him. So I just want you guys to definitely check it out. It was so refreshing, so fluid. I love Zetta's ability to write fluidly. Like it's just I don't I'm never flustered. I never find myself having to go back and say, okay, now what did she say? What does she mean by this? And of course there's value with those types of books, but when I'm escaping, when I feel like I'm on vacation, all right, in a book and I'm going to a new place, I don't want to go back. I want, please keep me in the moment, keep me inside of the story, and keep me wondering what's next, and keep me wanting to turn the page. And that's how I felt throughout Dragons in a Bag. All right, so Dragons in a Bag by Zetta Elliott. Jax is 9. This is a middle grade novel. Middle grade novel. So this is for your elementary students. Chapter books. Those of you who are your children or your students are just beginning to read chapter books. This is for you. All right. It's only 150 pages. So I would probably say this is good for second, third, fourth grade. Yeah, second, third, and fourth grade. Um, and you know what I think would be a great activity for you to do? Have your children and students research dragons from around the world. So, I haven't mentioned this, but I'm also an author. So, I'm working on a novel myself, a fantasy novel. It is YA. And I'm also working on a picture book of mythological creatures from Africa. And throughout my research, I was able to discover dragons from around the world, which I had no idea existed. All right. So, and I also did a mythological creature activity with my students last year, where they actually studied mythological creatures from around the world. Okay. So there are a few dragons that I'd like you to have your students research more about. The first would be your regular Western dragon. These are the dragons that we see in Lord of the Rings, in Harry Potter, in let's see, where else? I know I'm missing something. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and also, of course, Game of Thrones. All right, those are your regular. I don't want to call them regular because they're still fantastic creatures. Don't get me wrong, but these are the dragons that we are accustomed to seeing. Okay, then you have your East Asian dragons, your Chinese dragons, all right, which come with some different lore that it might be really interesting for your children, homeschoolers, and your students to dig into and find out a little bit more about. Then there's my favorite dragon. Well, I have two favorite dragons. One is Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is a feathered lizard or a feathered dragon that you can find in ancient Aztec lore. So that's Quetzalcoatl. The pictures that you're going to find when you look up and do research on Quetzalcoatl are just breathtaking. You know, Quetzalcoatl is really pictured as this brilliantly colored feathered beast with like purple and yellow and orange plumage and green plumage and it's just fantastic. So look up Quetzalcoatl. And the last one, this one is actually going to be in my novel, and that is the Ninki Nanka. The Ninki Nanka is a West African dragon found in Gambian lore. All right, the Ninki Nanka. And one thing that I love about the Ninki Nanka is like you're gonna see some conflicting stories. So there's some folks who say that the Ninki Nanka has like a horn on its head. Another says it has two horns in its head. Another says it has like a diamond in the middle of its forehead. And another says that its scales are made of mirrors. All right, and they're reflecting scales. So look up those four creatures. Of course, the Western dragon, European Western dragon, the East Asian dragon or Chinese dragon, Quetzalcoatl, all right, and the Ninki Nanka. So I'm going to add some of those links in the description section for you all to check out. Okay, but Dragons in a Bag by Zetta Elliott. Love, 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 love this book. Please support Zeta, support The Dragon Thief, which is the sequel to this. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment, share, like, comment, share, subscribe, like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate all of my subscribers. I appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. Support Zeta Elliott, support me, and I appreciate you guys. And enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.